The other big story today, another potentially life-threatening storm is barreling toward Florida. Milton already a powerful Category 5 hurricane. It's expected to make landfall Wednesday, and the Sunshine State bracing for impact. Dozens of counties already under a state of emergency. FEMA warning people in Florida to prepare before it's too late. But the agency is already under fire over its response to the destruction from Helene, which hit less than 2 weeks ago, and concerns over funding. Correspondent Joe Khalil live for us in Washington. And Joe, FEMA might not have enough money to get America through this hurricane season.
Yeah, FEMA may seriously be in a budget crunch, Nichole, and a lot of that is going to depend on Hurricane Milton and how much damage it does. If, in fact, it makes landfall and does about as much damage and devastation as Hurricane Helene did, then it is entirely possible that FEMA is going to need Congress to come back to Washington. They're on recess right now until after the election. Congress would need to come back and appropriate even more funds to FEMA. Again, should Milton be as devastating as Helene. That's why we're keeping such a close eye on that developing storm. But take a look at some of the financial situations that FEMA itself posted on its own website, its own records here, before both of those storms actually hit. They were headed toward a $3 billion deficit by February, and then a $22.5 billion deficit by September of 2025. Now, a lot of that was because it still had outstanding reimbursement payments for other natural disasters that had not yet been paid out. So that is, again, the situation before those storms. Now you got both Milton and Helene, which are exacerbating the situation. Before Congress left for its recess, it did appropriate $20 billion additional to the disaster relief fund for FEMA, which should be enough to at least cover all of the damage and all of the resource payback and financial aid for Helene. Now, the White House and FEMA say that they're already laying the groundwork for Milton's impact and that resources are already on the ground in Florida. They say here, quote, as FEMA maintains its focus on Helene response and recovery, the agency's also pre-positioning resources to local state response efforts ahead of Milton. FEMA's fully prepared to respond to the storm's impacts and has already begun staging resources and personnel to support communities in its path. Now, we should mention, Nichole, as we've been reporting, there have been these claims out there that the reason FEMA doesn't have enough money potentially to handle two storms is because FEMA has already paid out so much to migrants for housing and for shelter. Those claims are almost entirely false. It is true that FEMA has spent more than $1 billion on migrant services, shelter, reimbursing cities and towns that have taken migrants in, but it's an entirely separate pool of funding than where disaster relief comes from. And while $1 billion sounds like a lot of money, certainly it is. That is very real taxpayer money. It is just a drop in the bucket compared to what FEMA has been paying out for disaster relief, which is upwards of $20 billion more recently as they've responded to storms over the last couple of years, Nichole.
All right, so we know, Joe, that there are these false claims out there. We also know when FEMA posted that $22 billion deficit as of last month. What are the chances Congress does come back to appropriate more money?
You know, it certainly is possible. We heard Speaker of the House Mike Johnson over the weekend say that Congress is going to do whatever it has to do. He didn't suggest one way or another that they would come back. It's not totally unprecedented. If the storms get significant and severe, there would be a lot of pressure on Congress to come back and immediately appropriate funds. Otherwise, the election only a few weeks away, Congress will be back then, and presumably that would be one of the first things they would do at that point.
Yeah, a lot of money and resources certainly are needed. Okay, Joe Khalil in Washington, thank you. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.